Welcome to the January 22nd, 2025 meeting of the Town of Southampton Conservation Board. The board's meetings continue to be hybrid, which means they'll be held both in person at Town Hall and via video conference through Zoom webinar. If you go to the town website and click on the town clerk's agendas and meetings portal, you can watch the live stream video of the meeting, and there is a link to submit written comments for the public record. You can also join the Zoom webinar through the town clerk's portal on the website. If you are attending via Zoom and wish to speak during the meeting, then please alert our moderator by clicking the raise hand icon or type in the chat box. Thank you. I'd invite you all to rise for the salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of December 4th. What is your pleasure?
Motion to accept. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we're going to delay the minutes of December 18th until we get another board member. The public hearings we're going to take out of order of necessity, A022054, Paul Basic and Lisa Gallo.
And then you have the January 8th.
Eight,
minutes.
Oh,
We can't do
I completely
those.
missed that.
We can't
do that.
We
We can't
can't,
do that either?
Okay.
we can't
All right.
do them.
We'll wait on that one too. Okay, we'll start the public hearings. Suzanne.
For the applicant, Susanna Herman and Consultants, 1319 North Sea Road, Southampton. This is, I believe, the third hearing on this application. I was last here in October. At that time, I believe the only thing that we were discussing is the final limits of the non-disturbance buffer or the revegetation area and the location of the fence. But the homeowners have decided to go along with moving the proposed fence to the landward edge of the revegetation area. So now the revegetation plan has been presented. This was the area in question here. So the fence has been moved to the landward edge of that, the proposed fence. They're going to remove all the makeshift deer fencing that was along the property line in the back. And bring the property into compliance with the 75-foot non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer that was put in place when the pool was approved many years ago, and also with the Aquifer Protection Overlay District. So we're revegetating to bring it into compliance. Legalizing a shed that's about 100 feet from the wetlands line, and they're proposing some dormers. There's also plans to abandon the LP tank that was allowed to remain in the buffer as part of the last process, remove the asphalt driveway, replace that with permeable. So I think that we have met all of the requirements that staff has requested. The applicants have been very agreeable, and I'm hoping that we can close the public hearing this evening.
Good evening, I'm Marty Shea, Chief Environmental Analyst for the town. Consistent with the applicant's testimony tonight, the final revised survey and revegetation plan are in keeping with the recommendations of the Conservation Board and my office. There may be a need for some greater specificity in terms of management of invasives as part of the actual permit, but that can be addressed. So I am recommending that the survey and the revegetation plan be approved. And I would also recommend that the hearing be closed tonight. Thank you.
Motion to close the public.
Is there anyone in the public who would like to speak on this application or on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thanks.
Matt, we need 4 for a quorum, and we have 1 recusal, so we're short 1 person. And I'm not sure what's going on. He usually is here, so I can't even
Is there-
open.
Is there any way that we can just hold off for 5 minutes and maybe someone can
Yes,
text him to see if
yes,
he's coming?
Yes, we're not saying we can't do it tonight, we're saying we can't do it until we get another number.
Right, so we can sit and wait and see if
We
he
have to
shows
wait for
up.
2
Is it-
weeks, but
Would anybody happen to have a cell phone to reach out to Mr. Rickenbach to see if he's coming? I hate to make you do that, but I also hate to make Frank sit around and wait
Who
when he's
you
got a
call?
long drive home.
Sunshine's not coming, she's sick.
Okay.
Jerry resigned, personal reasons.
If he doesn't respond, we'll hang out for a little bit.
Message has been sent. Just hang out a bit, we'll go through some of the other agenda, and if I get a response, we'll deal with that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And they can even join Zoom if they want.
I'm sorry, what was that?
They can even join Zoom if they want.
Yeah, but that
no.
doesn't set the quorum.
No, we have to have a quorum
We can
present.
vote. But
Sorry,
You
I
have
was
to be in person
misinformed.
for quorum.
Okay, so we're gonna just wait on that application for the public hearing and move on to the advisory reports, 173 Norris Lane.
This is a pending 2-lot subdivision application before the planning board. It's in the pre-application stage for property at Norris Lane in the hamlet of Bridgehampton. There are several recommended advisory comments. The first indicates that a January 9, 2025 field assessment, together with review of town aerial imagery, has revealed that the majority of the pre-existing trees, inclusive of those along Norris Lane, were apparently cut and removed just prior to filing of the subdivision application, with the site disturbance occurring between 2023 and 2024 and 2025. Second, environmental benefits which were offered by the trees, such as thermal cooling, carbon sequestration, and air purification, as well as habitat for songbirds and community character, have as a result been lost. And lastly, the adverse impacts of the tree cutting need to be lessened by requiring that the applicant put forward a landscape drawing calling for planting of native street trees.
Motion to send those comments to the planning board.
second.
All in favor? Opposed? Go on, subdivision.
This is a subdivision that's in the pre-application stage. It's essentially a lot line modification for an existing developed lot and a vacant lot located at 10 and 12 Red Creek Road in the hamlet of Hampton Bays. There are several recommended advisory comments. The first indicates that as both proposed lots 1 and 2 are located within 200 feet landward of town regulated wetlands, a section 292-39B referral needs to be forwarded to the Conservation Board. The second advisory comment provides some history with regards to a recently issued administrative wetland permit for the developed lot. That permit was issued on April 16, 2024, and it was to allow for demolition of the existing dwelling, foundation, cellar entry, concrete stoop, steps, and porch. The permit also allows for abandonment of the existing sanitary system, renovation of the existing detached garage, removal of various walks and fences, as well as wood debris and litter. It calls for retention of the existing garage electric service lines, requires that the demolished residential foundation footprint be backfilled. It also okayed some minimal pruning and removal of nuisance, dead, and diseased trees, as well as removal of overgrown ornamental landscape. And I returned to the property this morning, and I found that none of that authorized work has been completed so far. The third comment speaks to the site conditions. It indicates that although the westerly part of proposed Lot 2, and Lot 2 is the vacant lot, has been impacted by tree cutting and tree fall, the eastern part of Lot 2 yet supports young to mature stands of native oak, hickory, beech, ash, maple, and cedar, which provide environmental benefits such as thermal cooling, carbon sequestration, air purification, and songbird habitat. They also buffer the adjacent easterly town protected land and a watershed land for Squires Pond. As such, protection of the rear woods is recommended, and that would be accomplished through establishment of a conservation easement extending 50 feet west of the rear lot line, and that action would result in nearly 25% or 3,288 square feet of proposed Lot 2 being preserved as part of the lot line modification.
Motion to send those comments to the planning board.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Matt, an update. Matt?
Matt,
Hello, Matt?
No, his name is Brant.
Oh, Brant, sorry. I was calling you Matt. Well, hey there.
Hi, sorry. I was deep in thought too.
All right, sorry to
Yes.
interrupt that thought, but anyway, we got an update,
Okay.
and that is Tom will not make it here tonight. There's some medical issues in his family he has to tend to,
Okay.
so
Thank you for that.
he's not going to make it, which means that we cannot hold your hearing tonight for lack of a quorum, and that means that we will automatically extend it to the next meeting. Does that work for you?
It's February 20.
Yeah, it's February 12th, and we only have one hearing
Well,
on, so.
how many just so was we do have two hearings on for the meeting on the 12th. One is the Farrett wetland determination appeal, and the second is the Lynn Prue Estate application, wherein approval of shoreline erosion control measures are being
Lynn
requested.
Prue says it's on for February 26th.
Yeah, it's just
Next,
lot
just
for
one.
February 12th,
Just one for next meeting. It's just
which
the,
is Farmington.
just the Farvid.
Oh, on
What?
26th. Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
February 12th,
all of it
next
was
meeting.
the next meeting.
Yeah, February 12th.
Four of it
Oh, I'm
is.
sorry.
And then
It's
I'm
just
sorry.
one.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry, we just have the Fall hearing on for the 12th.
okay. So you're welcome to stay and,
So does the 12th works?
Yeah, I'm good with the 12. Yeah, we'll take the 12.
Okay.
okay,
Thank you.
okay.
And if
I'd
your
rather
schedule,
Stay and watch
you know, of course, if your schedule changes, just let us know and we'll work with you on
Okay.
another hearing, adjournment day.
Okay.
Okay?
And
Thank
if
you all.
you do end up
All right,
with some
thank
other
you.
plans between now and then, if you could submit them in sufficient time for Marty to review them before the meeting, it'd be very helpful.
Yep, understood.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
The next is the Board of Trustees, 551 Main Street, Queog.
This is an advisory referral for a planned catwalk and dock at 551 Main Street in Queog. The property has frontage on Quantuck Bay. It contains considerable wetlands and is also encumbered by a covenanted naturally vegetated wetland non-disturbance buffer extending 100 feet landward of the wetlands. So there are two recommended advisory comments. The first is that the planned use of 60% light penetrating open grate deck boards supported by untreated posts for the purposes of building the planned dock / catwalk and steps is consistent with Conservation Board environmental building standards. And second, a January 9, 2024 Environment Division field assessment has confirmed that the residential development, which is currently underway, inclusive of the required establishment of a covenanted wetland preservation area, naturally vegetated wetland, non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer, is at this time compliant with the terms and conditions of Conservation Board Wetland Permit number CB 23032, which was issued on June 9, 2023.
Motion to send these comments to the Board of Trustees.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? The administrative wetland permits are in your packets. Resolution of conditional approval, A 024030, 78 Harbor Watch LLC. This is postponed to February 12th, 2025. Is there a motion?
Motion to postpone to February 12th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? A 024067, Todd Neufeld. Any discussion?
Move to issue.
Second.
Resolved that a conditional wetland permit approval be granted to Todd Neufeld for the proposed project on the terms and conditions set forth therein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Preliminary review of second determination, A 023056, 258 Horse Mill LLC.
This application relates to a large estate property with frontage on Mecox Bay. As indicated by the aerial imagery, the property also contains a coastal pond and very extensive coastal brackish and freshwater wetlands. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated January 17, 2025. The application has been made in order to gain this board's approval to demolish and remove an existing hot tub, which essentially is located on the landward side of the existing residence and hardscape. The hot tub would be replaced with a hot and cold plunge pool with an ornamental waterfall and terrace area, also requiring the removal of some existing hedge lines. The improvements, as indicated by the advisory report, would all be located at the setbacks greater than 100 feet of the nearest wetlands. As part of this application, a buffer restoration and revegetation plan has been submitted because there is an existing covenanted buffer, and that buffer was recently cleared. There's also an unauthorized east-west deer fence. The applicant has agreed to remove that fencing and to fully restore and revegetate the buffer. When the application was originally filed, the landowner had also sought approval from this board for management of Phragmites and invasive nuisance vegetation. I elected to separate the Phragmites management activities from the pending application and to issue a separate administrative wetland permit, which the landowner is pleased about. The permit it has very extensive conditions in terms of required monitoring. The Phragmites is to be phased in as well. So the application that is before you in terms of the construction is going to result in minimal or no adverse impacts to the wetlands. And as indicated, the applicant is amenable to fully restoring the disturbed portions of the buffer. As such, we have sufficient information to make a determination. Accordingly, I'm recommending that the public hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing?
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to chapter 325, section 325-80 of the Town Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? A 024011, Elizabeth Kelly.
This application relates to a developed, partially developed property on Kellis Pond Lane in Bridgehampton. There is a preliminary advisory report dated January 14, 2025. As indicated by the report, there is an existing residence and swimming pool and various patios and decks at the property. The landowner is seeking a wetlands permit to renovate the home, to build a large second-story dormer addition, and to replace the existing pool, patio, and deck areas with a new reconfigured in-ground gunite pool with a new patio. There are some improvements that were completed at the property as part of the main residence without requisite town wetland permits, including, among others, a elevated patio and associated supporting rock and retaining walls on the pond side or lake side of the residence. The applicant is so the applicant needs to get those improvements legalized. The applicant is also seeking to purchase a town development right in order to allow for construction of a new and separate accessory apartment building in the southwest portion of the property, which is currently naturally vegetated and vacant. The apartment would benefit by a small pool, a attached garage, various porches and patios. The property is encumbered by a fairly extensive drainage easement, which was required by the planning board as part of the subdivision approval. There is also a 5 foot 5 foot wide walkway easement that the planning board required, which is routed from the cul-de-sac to Kellis Pond, where there's a common dock area. The initial plans that the applicant put forward had proposed a new secondary driveway, which would be cut off of the existing main drive leading to the home. Its route would take it through the existing 5 foot wide walkway easement and the drainage easement, which is in conflict with the easement language. So I have recommended that the secondary driveway be cut directly on the south side of Kellis Pond Lane to provide direct access to the secondary dwelling. One of the reasons why a drainage easement was required is there's a shallow valley corridor and a stream bed, which is currently dry on this property, which actually runs from Kellis Pond all the way back to New Light Lane and then to Calf Creek. This stream bed did have historic flow. It's not flowing right now. I have asked that the clearing for the secondary dwelling be limited so as to not only protect the drainage easement, but the stream bed as well. I've also recommended that a 50-foot wide covenanted naturally vegetated buffer be established between the residence and Kellis Pond, and that the on-site wetlands be encumbered by a wetland preservation area requiring removal of an existing unauthorized wire fence. The buffer would be, of course, restored to native vegetation. So there, as was shown before, there is an alternative sketch which has been forwarded to the applicant, and we're waiting on revised project plans. This is an application for which we have sufficient information in order to make a determination. As such, I'm recommending that the hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing.
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing pursuant to Chapter 325, Section 325-8 of the Town Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Case 024066, David Malpan and Stefano Tonchi.
This application relates to an existing residentially developed property that has frontage on Sacaponic Pond and extensive freshwater wetlands. There is a preliminary advisory report on file dated January 8, 2025. The applicant is seeking a wetland permit in order to significantly expand the existing residence in order to replace the existing pool with a larger pool on the west side of the residence, and also to replace various decks and hardscape with new patio. In light of the advance of the wetland boundary, the applicant has offered to expand the existing covenanted buffer by about 25 feet so that it will be maximized. And it will lead to the immediate southerly frontage of the residence and patio areas. The applicant has come forward with an excellent native planting plan. It's just in need of some minor revision. The applicant, of course, will, there is an existing covenanted wetland preservation area and wetland disturbance buffer, but the applicant, of course, will file an amended covenant taking the full breadth of the larger preservation area that's now intended. So the applicant has put forward a plan that responds well to the wetland permit issuance standards. We do have sufficient information to make a determination. As such, recommending that the public hearing requirement be waived.
Motion to waive the public hearing?
Second.
Resolved that the Town Conservation Board hereby waives the public hearing requirement pursuant to Chapter 225 of the Code of the Village of Southampton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution issue modification, CB 23038, DRJ Homes LLC.
This wetland permit modification application relates to formerly vacant land. There's currently undergoing residential development, as you can see on the aerial. The applicant filed for a modified permit in order to reconfigure the previously approved decking at the rear of the house, notwithstanding the changes in the deck. The new reconfigured deck would meet all of the setback requirements of this board when the board issued the Conservation Board permit. So all of the other mitigative measures and conditions of the original permit yet being complied with, including establishment of an expansive wetland conservation area and a vegetative buffer, which essentially would put the southern forested portion of the property in preservation. So there's no aspect of this application that poses a risk of additional wetland impacts. As such, there is a resolution before you to approve the requested permit modifications so the applicant can go forward with the changes in the deck construction plans.
Motion to issue the modification?
Second.
Resolved that a wetland permit modification be issued to DRJ Homes LLC, present proposed project upon the terms and conditions set forth therein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? CB 23043, Ecolop Corp.
This application relates to a property on Beechwood Drive in the Hamlin North Sea. There are freshwater wetlands in the far northeasterly part of the property. The Conservation Board had formally issued a wetlands permit to allow for clearing of vacant forested land in order to build a single-family residence with accessory improvements. Karina, can you put the area on this property? Yeah, this is obviously prior to the commencement of any construction because they haven't actually started clearing. The plans that the board had approved were fully compliant with the wetland permit issuance standards in that they provided for a minimum 125-foot wetland construction setback, a 100-foot wide naturally vegetated buffer, and a sanitary system at least 150 feet landward of wetlands. The applicant has decided to change the footprints of the residence deck and swimming pool area. All of the changes would yet be compliant with the former requirement for 125 wetland building setback and 100-foot naturally vegetated buffer. Sanitary system, again, it's an IA. It would be in excess of 150 feet landward of the wetland boundary. So there is no aspect of the changes in the residential design that are anticipated to result in any new impacts or adverse wetland impacts. Accordingly, there's resolution before you to modify the conditional approval that was granted to allow for these changes in the residential and accessory footprints so that we can go forward with issuance of the wetland permit and so that the building permits can be issued and construction and clearing can commence.
Motion to issue a modification.
Second.
Resolved that a wetland permit modification be issued to DRJ Homes LLC for the proposed project within the terms and conditions of what therein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you all.